everybody. Welcome to this new episode of Words with Dawn Thomson. And today I have a really special guest with me, an old friend, an ex next door neighbor, and an all round fabulous woman. And that woman is Steph Wilson. Morning, Steph.
Hi.
So, Steph is a woman in business, and she is the co-founder and the CEO of a company called SK Chase, which provides gift vouchers and service to the hotel community. But other than that, she's just one of these chicks, just like you and me, who just tear things up and has so many other things going on. So I'm really, really interested to hear what word is resonating for her and chiming for her today when there's so much to draw from. How are you, Steph? How you doing?
I'm good, thanks, Dawn. I'm good, thank you. Um, do you want me just to go straight into my word?
Well, maybe not. Maybe could we just go back a little bit
Yeah.
to what SK Chase stood for you? Because I know that it was your co-founder and you've co-founded it with another woman, which is really, really interesting. And how
Yeah.
was it as a woman in business?
Yeah, it's definitely had its challenges along the way. It's
Mhm.
been 22 years in the making. So we actually pioneered gift voucher technology for the hospitality sector. So being the first to market was fantastic, but also more like an education piece as well. So we had to really show hotels that there was potential there for them to sell gift experiences in particular. So the platform enables you to sell monetary gifts and gift experiences. And we have now evolved it as well so that the service element is just as important. So I think for me, that's the bit that really gets me excited is really getting into conversation with the clients and understanding how we can help and what their business needs are because it the technology is one part of it, but actually just really helping them grow their business, keep their business, be sustainable in this day and age in particular when it's very difficult for all businesses actually because of the rising costs of having a business and getting the right people and all these different things. So actually the service part, as well as some nice new technology. So we now do ticketing as well. We can help hotels with guest add-ons, things like champagne and extras that people want to gift for people staying in the hotel, and retail as well, branded retail. So we've got a much fuller offering now, but also the thing that sets us apart really is the service element, the expertise and insight that we can bring to our clients to help them grow their sales. So it's been a challenge over the years. It was myself and Kay Taylor that started the business. It's now just me at the helm. Kay is still a shareholder, but not involved operationally. So that was quite a shift as well. So 6 or 7 years ago now, that was the kind of big shift. It was just pre-COVID actually, which was another challenge in itself
Mm.
for
So
everyone in
many
many ways.
ways. In so many ways. Uh-huh.
It was actually a huge growth period for SK Chase. I mean, in terms of the international expansion that happened as a result of us working with a lot of UK hotels whose international sister hotels, counterparts, saw, oh, there's still some revenue coming in some hotels in the UK. What is that? Let's switch it on. So actually, that was a really busy new clients coming in phase for us. So there was no one furloughed in my business. Everybody was working
So
full
with
on.
that, with Kay moving away, and so leaving you as the head driver of everything
Yeah,
at a time when things suddenly look so different, but were actually really thriving and burgeoning for you. How did you find dealing with that?
Yeah, I did. There were definitely some points where I felt quite overwhelmed by what was happening. But what I really saw is that I love a challenge. Like I really love that sense of rising to the occasion, and not in a battle through this way, but just in a um not being overtaken by all of the stuff that's going on, like being able to have that kind of steady, that anchored feeling, like a ship in a storm. I mean, I know that's such a like cliche, but that
Well,
you
COVID
know,
was a storm. COVID was a storm
it
for
was a storm. It was a shit show. I mean, and the way that we were all behaving and complying and not seeing anyone and all that sort of like there was loads going on, obviously, but what felt what actually felt really steady in that uncertain time was business for me. It was and that was a very fast-paced growing space we were in as well. So yeah, that anchored, steady feeling, facing into the storm. The other image that quite often comes to me is the bison is the only animal that doesn't run in a storm. It faces into a storm. And that I love that image of a bison, still going quite slow, but still actually going through the storm, and not turning and fleeing, which I guess is or just freezing, which are all the options. And sometimes all of those things, like my experience has been varied, obviously, but I did recognize almost kind of as we were coming out, like, oh, that was a really interesting challenge. And I can see the rise into the challenge piece, the not getting overtaken, not getting overwhelmed, despite being in such uncertain times, and moving slowly forward, like still being able to have that movement, I guess, which I love.
the bison, just being more bison. And
Yeah, be bison.
did you realize that you were being bison during those times? Or was it only when you look back that you realized it was just steady one foot in front of the other and hope you get?
Yeah, yeah. And it's quite often like that for me. It's more a sort of retrospective. But I do think it's really important to also have the space to do that, because you do realize more about yourself and your capabilities and your what you enjoy, what you don't enjoy so much, all of those like lessons, because they can it can just sort of bypass you. And I think most of the time a lot of our experience does, and that's like does it, it's just that's the way it is. But I think for me it was really helpful to acknowledge, oh, that is actually a strength. Like I have got that um resilience in a business space, certainly. Not sure about everywhere else, but I can draw upon it. I know what it feels like. I know, I've got a feel for it. I guess it's helpful.
Yeah. And that speaks a lot about, the sort of stuff that I want to talk about in this space, about that whole relationship and relationship to yourself and relationship to others, to your business, to your output, to your sense of self-esteem, to, all of that stuff. And, I think you're one of those ladies, get me. I think you're one of those ladies. You're just one of those chicks, basically, who really understands themselves and gives themselves a fair chance at just giving it a go. You know
Mm.
what I mean? And then maybe that's the bison, just like, you know what, why not? Let's just
Yeah,
step.
yeah, yeah. Just steady, slowly. It's not always about really pushing and driving, and that I think that's what it used to look like to me. It used to look like I have to make myself, I have to kind of suffer in some way for success or something. I don't really know, but it doesn't feel like that now. It feels like,
That's a really masculine space. That's that real drive, be more, do this, do it, be the top 5%, blah, 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 blah. And then they all kind of drop dead of heart attack or something like that, or
burnout. I mean, yeah,
see themselves out because they can't deal with it. And I think that model of success is a very outmoded one. And I think the more female, just one foot in front of the other, bison. I love that. That's my hashtag for this podcast. Be more bison.
I love it. Sometimes I'm like, is it a bison or is it a buffalo? But it's a bison. I'm pretty sure we should fact check that before.
No, well, exactly. That's Stuart's favorite joke about, you can't, what's the difference between a bison and a buffalo? You can't wash your hands in a buffalo. It's just like so bad. So scary. But yeah, so I like the fact that the bison is, I
Yeah.
like be more bison because yeah, sometimes you just have to put one foot in front of the other and you just feel like it's a case of just, and sometimes it feels like you're just grinding stuff out, but actually it can be a proper strategy.
Yeah. Yeah. And that is that I would say more feminine way of leading a business as well is
For sure.
because if we're just in that like get through it, churn it out like fast, like I've got to deliver. Um, you can't listen. You can't properly listen and hear where you're being drawn to put your attention. So as well, for me, that bison analogy really talks to um, a slower pace, a slower internal pace.
Yes.
But actually, my experience is that you get results much quicker that way anyway. Like it's
Yeah, by doing less, you get more by doing less. And I think that's where we haven't even come up with your word yet, Steph, and we're just giving a chat about this, but I'm loving this. But because, it's that thing, isn't it? That if you take that male model, the outmoded male model of do, I think that's where the overthinking comes because you're moving so fast. So if it's going, wait, what's going on? What do you know what I mean? And you're not really getting chance for it to land. And
yeah,
you say, check that it's the right space or the right decision to make.
yeah, yeah. And I think, I mean, we you can't help sometimes you go into that overdrive, you go into that space. But for me, it's shifted significantly. So it's less of that, more of the other. So, and the more sort of that kind of in flow state or in the zone state, whatever we want to call that. But that to me definitely feels different to that pressured, I should, like that sort of drive, which it was absolutely my experience through my whole working life until fairly recently. And I mean, I think it was probably the opposite to what I experience now. So I probably had moments of, oh, I just heard something there. I'm going to follow that, and it would take me in another direction or give me an answer to something I had been looking for. But I didn't really acknowledge it or wonder about where did that come from? What was that? What I wasn't aware of my intuition superpower at that point in
Yeah,
time.
the internal voice, the higher voice talking within, as opposed to following the model that someone else has created, which is go faster, do this, and then you spend so
Yeah,
long trying to
yeah,
fit into that.
yeah, yeah. We need to do more. We need to make more money. We need to get more clients. That push, 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 which I mean, to all intents and purposes, is a way of being in business. Like it's not. I wouldn't say one's right and one's wrong, or one's, you'll get more success if you spend more time. Like who knows? But if you want to, well, I'm coming up to my word, but for me, it's a much more um enjoyable, pleasant, tuned in way of being in business. And
Sure.
that's my preference. Like that is absolutely feels so different and so much better for me personally.
And and absolutely right. I'm very much of that as well. Do less, be more, feel more, trust your
Mm,
intuition is leading you to the place that's right for you. And because it's right for you, it will quite often not look like what anyone else has done. And that's the scary thing, when if you get frightened, you look at a model,
yeah,
another, and you're like, that's not how I feel, do.
yeah,
And then that's where it gets scary.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's not trust based anymore. It becomes fear based, and
Which is control.
yeah, yeah, and I
Controlling
need,
because you're scared, as opposed to trusting. Yeah, like putting
yeah,
one foot in front of the other, knowing the road's going to rise to meet you.
yeah,
Does that segue nicely into your word?
does. It does. So I kind of had two words, and I was like, oh, but I have listened and very like
Good.
clearly heard to bring the word integrity to you.
I love that word so much. It gives me a real, how some words, and this is a thing about the podcast, there are some words that not only mean something, but they give you a kind of visceral response to the word. And for
Mm.
me, integrity is one of those words. It makes me just go a little bit goosebumpy in a bit. So
Yeah.
tell me what it does for you and what it means for you at the moment.
Yeah, well, it's fairly new, and I just want to say as well, the other word that I was like thinking about is intuition.
Mhm.
But what I want to share is that when I'm in integrity, I hear my intuition, I follow my intuition, I'm guided. So they feel a little bit connected to me in that way.
Yeah. Like,
Um,
can you can't have one without the other stuff? Is that what it feels like for you?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Like it and integrity to me as well is about alignment and showing up as all of me, like being that present um person, and no, like just what we were saying before, like that trust, the trust is there, so the no matter what the situation is, and it could be, I don't know, walking into a client meeting, um that maybe there's a lot riding on it, or quite often sometimes you don't realize there's a lot riding on it, and then it turns out that, oh gosh, this opportunity is actually, a lot more than I thought, or a lot less. I mean, it can be both ways. But if I'm present and in integrity in the meeting, I've got just so much more at my fingertips. Like I've got more to offer, um and I can connect more deeply with whoever I'm with, whatever the situation is. Um, I'm not trying to be something I'm not. So I'm not going in with that less than,
Yeah.
or I'm not good enough, or there might not be a match here. Like I'm not going in with that. I'm going in open and listening, but not, well, listening here, but listening here, like really listening from my heart. And that like just opens another, it's just like another level. It's like if you were gaming and you just go into this other
Yeah.
level that you didn't even really know existed. Like it's just gives us so much more richness, no matter what the situation. I mean, this could be, in business, in a meeting with a bank, a client, a member of your team. Um, it could be at a gig. It could be like I like a whilst a lot of my whoa moments do come in a business space, it's not exclusive to that, and it's not to rule anything out. So to me, it is like I know who I am and I've got what I need. And when I'm in that integrity space, yeah, it just feels like there's just so much more on offer for everyone.
I love it. I'm just all, I've gone all goosebumpy. But I love this because what I see in the therapy room and outside of the therapy room is exactly what you're talking about, is that a lot of my clients are stuck in a very performative mindset because they don't know who they are. And so they are then so stressed about who they need to be when they relate to other people and actually to themselves because they don't know who they're relating to. And so when you come into, when you talk of integrity and, you know, feeling it in here and out there, how have you got that to that place, Steph?
I think just, well, first of all, just acknowledging it. Like when I like it was actually reading a book that Kay, so my business partner, Kay, I'm going to rewind a wee bit more actually, because through running our business together, we realized that there was this, I'll say cultural piece, because I think that's how people typically in a business space talk about this. But ultimately, we're talking about feeling. So we recognized that there was something kind of under the surface, under the what we could see going on. So, of course, again, typically in business, you're looking at KPIs, P&Ls, balance sheet. We looked at all of that, and we were starting to get a feel for there's something else though. There's an intangible asset within our business that is about how's everybody feeling? How does the business feel? Like how, like collectively as a group of people, how do we feel? And you can get a sense of that when you walk into a room full of people that, particularly people that you know quite well and who are, working in your team. So we got interested in that, and we got interested in, is there a way to like kind of harness and optimize, and not for everybody to be walking about smiling and happy all the time, but we could see the benefit of the kind of energy flowing and not getting blocked and locked and stuck, and we could see it in ourselves obviously as well. We could feel the difference of our performance when we were like in that kind of flow in the zone, and out of that. So we got interested in that, and we just started kind of thinking, is there, mainly so that SK Chase can thrive and realize its potential, because we could see the link between the commercial and the cultural. So we could see there's a line there, there's a connection there. So that was kind of where it started, and it led us. I say it led Kay into this, listening to a podcast with a chap called Michael Neal, who wrote the Inside Out Revolution. And as soon as I think Kay shared some of the book with me, or I picked it up and read a couple of paragraphs, and I was like, that's it. that is this is something for us to, look more into. So we kind of followed that path, and I have to say it led me into a transformation. Like I definitely got a space to kind of sit back, and it took me inside. So I got a deep insight into, and we're having an inside out experience in a way to just sort of put it out there in a nutshell. It's not outside in, so it's not um, things happening out here and then we feel a certain way. It looks like that, but it's all happening inside, and then we're projecting out.
Exactly.
So that for me, and the way that it came to me was such a truth. Like there's no exception here. Um and it changed the way that I saw everything from I mean, it's not as if I was suffering. I wouldn't say I was suffering in any way prior to that, but it really just opened up a whole new dimension, like I was talking about before, of knowing this is how it is. This is how life works. And from that point onwards, really, I've had this sense of it's not what we think it is. And you don't have to be scared of your experience, no matter what's coming at you. Like I did get this really clear visual about being in a harness. So you will, I don't know if you've been here, Dawn, but there's a climbing centre quite close by to where we both live, Rathdale Climbing Centre. And there's, or there used to be, I don't know if it's still there, but there was an aerial assault. So if you can think about an aerial assault that's got a harness, so you get clipped in on a harness, and then there's loads of obstacles in your way, like there's things to swing on. There's like felt like sort of tree trunks that you had to grab onto and shimmy across, and you're doing all this while you're. I mean, I'm terrible with heights, but like
It's really hard.
very,
It's at the
very,
top.
very.
I know the one you mean. It's at the top of the actual center.
And then there's like a big safety net as well. So you do think, even although I'm in a harness, they've still got a big safety net there. So there's maybe some sort of chance that I'll somehow get unclipped and I'll fall, and that'll be that would be it, presumably. I mean, I don't know how much you would bounce in the safety net.
I think it's called a safety net for a reason, Steph. I think it's interesting that, like me, you're looking at the safety net and going, that means I could fall, as opposed to going, oh, I'm safe. There's nothing here.
So I had this experience that not long before having the kind of insight around how life works, and I had been on that assault with our team, funnily enough. And I was like one of the last people to go. So I had kind of watched everyone like either absolutely like, don't look down, just get through it as quickly and, unscathed as I can. And then there was other people who were like really getting into the challenge and the physical side of it, and like, swinging off it, enjoying it, like maybe being a little bit scared, but kind of enjoying it. And when I went on, I remember like realizing, I think it was after, because you do have that adrenaline rush as you kind of go out for the first time, and there's nothing underneath you and you're just kind of dangling. I was like, I can just like move this harness along the rope. Like I actually don't need to put as much effort in as it looks like you maybe do. And whilst it is quite good fun, like trying to balance on this like tightrope to get across this section, I could do that, or I can also just pull myself along, like in a quite a nice, gentle way. So there was bits of me that was like taking the challenges and doing the thing and but I was in this. It's all right because I ultimately I can do this, and I'm in a harness, and there is a safety net. So, like, when I was thinking of what to share, um, as part of a course I was doing, to really share more about what I had saw as part of this inside out, take on life. I was like, oh gosh, I mean, I'm presenting to a room full of however many, I don't know, a couple of hundred people about this insight. Like, how am I gonna, what am I gonna say? Like, how do I describe what I've seen? Because it's like transformational. I want to get the words right. Um, and then I was like, oh, yeah, I'm just gonna like sort of give it up and see what comes. And immediately I got that image of, the year ago or however close it was to being in that harness. And I was like, that is the way that I can describe how I now see life, because I genuinely feel like it's not about me turning my wheels and or burning myself out and getting through life as quickly as possible. Like there is something else. There is another dimension. There is something. I'm not religious at all, but like there is something bigger than me that we can tap into, that's accessible to everyone, that has kind of like, I want to say like got your back or holding us in some way, like that sense of the harness. It's the heart that. And I was like, oh, that's actually a really helpful way to describe what I now have this feeling of. And that's a great example of it just coming to me. So like that's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about being in integrity. It's like I don't have to spin my wheels and stress out. And in fact, when I do go into that space, I might get something, but it's not as good quality as what I get if I just sit back.
And you allow because you trust.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I mean, that's exactly, you and I have had so many chats about this sort of thing. That's exactly the sort of thing that I teach my clients, is actually, because we do live from this inside out space, everything can be changed. And because you're controlling you, not the outside, you can control you and shape you and and it becomes an immensely creative and expansive experience if you just allow yourself to be you, and know that you've got the answers from the field. So that place that you're talking about with the harnesses, to me, that's the field. That's, everything that's ever gone before us is in that field, and everything that we're creating goes into that field, which means our kids can, they're not gonna, because we've done it, we've created it, but they could take stuff from the field that we put in there. But hey, that's a different podcast about the kids not taking any notice of us. But it's that, isn't it? It's that field. And I feel that as well, that it's everything, because we're all energy. To me, it just feels like a vast pool almost. I mean, or literally a field that's made up of lots of different tiny things, and it can't be the field without one of those little specks. But we're all held because all the specks are interconnected and holding each other.
Yeah, yeah. And we could actually, yeah, like the net. I mean, that is now, I've never seen that before, but I wondered if like the safety net is more like the fields as well. Like there's that, yeah, like just that certainty that you can't get it wrong. I know it looks like you can,
Yeah.
but you can't. Like you can't get it wrong. And
Get it wrong according to whom? Who's telling you that it's wrong? Or
yeah.
is it really wrong? And I think that's what I'm hearing in terms of what you're saying about your integrity. That if I said to you, oh, Steph, it looks like you're doing it wrong.
Mhm.
Well, according to whom? Because if you're feeling inside that it's
Mhm.
right, then it's right. But if you're feeling inside that it's not working the way it should,
Yeah.
then it's not.
Yeah.
And
And I think that's the acknowledgement part. So I think we all do that anyway.
mm,
And we just kind of bypass it and think,
mm,
oh, there must be another way I need to come up with from my mind, from my own kind of personal small mind. I need to come up with a new solution. I need to get there. How are we going to get the blah, blah, blah? And it's not to say that I don't still go into that space, but quite
because
often
you're bouncing it out of it, don't you?
yeah, and I can feel it. I can feel it in my body. I can feel the urgency. I can feel my tummy gets a bit jittery, and it's kind of going into that stress. Like I'm going into a bit of stress state. Like it happened actually last week when I was on my way to Glasgow, and I missed my train, and I was presenting, and I knew I was presenting at 10 o'clock, and I had missed the train that was going to get me there in plenty of time to take my time and get to the meeting and go to the toilet, put my
Yeah.
lip gloss on. And what ended up happening was I like missed the train, ended up driving, sat in loads of stressful traffic, abandoned the car, ran up a hill. You know what the hills in Glasgow are like? That ran up one of those hills for quite a long time, not feeling like I was actually moving. It's like, and then flew into the room of 50 mainly businessmen people, and was a bit like, yeah, I'm up. Okay, glass of water. Um, and then I remembered who I was, and I got quiet
Love that.
and presented. I'm not even sure. Like, I mean, I had some slides, but I had also prepared that I would think it, I had also left thinking I was having time on the train to just, polish things up a bit. But I didn't, obviously, because I was sitting on the M8. Um, and it didn't matter what was in my presentation, really, because I had so much more to offer from me. And it just like, I know these are examples, or maybe just, I'm not talking about being faced with, a life threatening illness or something like that. But I also think there's such freedom and well-being in that knowing, because it's just a gentler it's just a gentler way of being. Like I know that my nervous system, for example, isn't pinging on high alert all the time. I'm still facing a lot of challenges, especially as a parent, in a relationship. um I'm quite involved in my community council, my local community, as well as the challenges that I face on a daily basis in business. But that grounded, like a home feeling, like I know that it's impacted on my physical well-being, as well as psychological and, well, spiritual well-being. It's there's so much benefit there. It's yeah, I can't not point to it. And that's more like what I've started doing now, I suppose, is pointing to that way of being, particularly for women, because I think we do have, thankfully, more of a feel for it. I think it's more sort of in the feminine, which of course everyone has access to. I'm not excluding men from it, but I think we very naturally have access. We've got an ear for it,
Yeah.
and that's really what I talk about with my team, for example, is them tapping into their intuition, their knowing, their listening, And actually that really helps them to like just have accountability, take responsibility, all the kind of on the surface benefits that come from them being able to look at that and tune into that as well. So like, yeah, one of the conversations I had last week, someone said, oh, like, you're a medicine woman in business. And I was like, oh yeah, that I think that is. And that's the integrity, being in alignment, knowing that it's not constant. It's not, I think it's constantly available, but I'm not constantly available to it.
We're demonstrating a way forward, which feels quite new and unfamiliar to a lot of people, not by doing it, but by being it and just living it.
Yeah,
Not, you know what I mean? And I think that's the thing about integrity, the way that you are talking about it and the way that I see it as well. It is literally just, you've got it all. So just embody it, let it out to play almost. Do you know what I mean? And all
yeah.
parts. Let
And
all
then you just start playing a different game. Like you just like what when we first got on together and I can't remember if it was when I said the word or before that, but you were like, I've got goosebumps. So there's like that's us connecting in that deeper dimension, isn't it? We're not even in the same room together. However, as two human beings, you can feel what I'm saying. And I'm like, that's the game changer. Like if I can go and pitch to a client and leave them in that kind of like inspired feeling, maybe not even knowing, what I don't know what happened there, but I really liked what she was saying. There was something, yeah, really kind of magical, another dimension there versus someone else who's maybe doing a very similar pitch because there is a lot of similar businesses to us, but they don't hone in on the service. They don't, necessarily um, really get the feeling piece there, which I think is that's the key. And the people who get it are the people who I want to work with.
right. And that's the thing, that vibrationally, the other people can't get on your wavelength because it's like they're just not dialing in to the same level. Do you know what I mean? And that's why doing less is a real thing, because otherwise you'll be going to lower levels, lower vibes, picking up people that are just not your people. Whereas
Yeah,
actually, if you're just there, people suddenly go, "Oh yeah,
yeah,
you," you
yeah,
know. And
yeah,
I had a client. I still get called. People still say that my work is magic, and I'm like, it's really not magic. Feels like it, but there's proper science in this, and I remember a client. I must have told you this stuff years ago. I remember I turned a client around from she's done a complete 180 in her life, completely transformed within about 3 hours. She goes to me, how have you done that? It's magical. And I was like, well, it's not really. And I gave her all the woo that we're talking about, the vibes and talking about and she was like, yeah, but how have you done it? So I was like, okay. So then I gave her all the science and all that stuff. And then she goes, no, how have you done it? And I was like, well, I don't know what to say. So I said, I don't know what you want to say. What you want to say? And they said, oh, look, I'm just really a witch. And she honestly was like, I thought so. And she grabbed her bag and she just ran out of the room. And I was like, oh my gosh. She was so, her conditioning about how things can change and how things can be was so triggered by what I was doing that it could only make sense to her if I said I was a witch.
yeah, yeah,
So actually, this is you, you're doing it yourself, you're allowing
yeah.
it yourself. She was just like, no, that can't be a thing, because when you go to therapy, things get done to you, and I'm like, no, they don't. Things get unwrapped so that
Mm,
you can be
yeah,
bison in complete integrity,
yeah. And
they,
that's it. It's the unraveling, it's the undoing, and the kind of the falling away. I mean, that is ultimately what happened to me in that kind of first deep insight moment. Like so much stuff fell away. Like, this is a really silly thing. This is also part of what happens. Like, I had this real fear of pigeons.
So many people are scared of birds.
I don't know what, like, I sort of remember where it might have come from in childhood, but it wasn't like that traumatic. But it,
Just
it
did you look at a crow and a seagull and not be
it was
bothered?
just
Hardcore
pigeons,
pigeons.
just
The wrong ones. Look at them though. They do not look.
and maybe living in a city, it was maybe just coming up as pigeons because they're the ones that you have to kind of walk through and they all flap about. So I mean, I had a real, like, I would start getting all, and I would have to cross the road, and if a pigeon like flew in front of me, I'd be like, it's just so embarrassing. It's just like one of those things. But anyway, the weekend I had the deep insight. We were in London, so I was, there was
Pigeon
a lot of
central.
pigeons everywhere. Um, and just what the afternoon afterwards or morning afterwards, after the insight, I just walked through like hundreds of pigeons, and I didn't even like. I did see them, but I didn't even realize I wasn't scared. So that, like, I was like, God. I mean, there's one kind of silly, obvious example, but that is again another kind of good metaphor for like not everything, so much of what I thought changed and what I believed. But I didn't consciously take any of that off the table or put any effort into that discontinuing. It just
It's
fell
okay.
away. It
First of all,
literally fell away.
no effort required. And that's the thing and that's why whenever I say to my clients, I say, be curious. Anything I want to do is be curious as to what's changed in
Mm,
this.
mm,
They'll come back. Like, I walked through some pigeons. I didn't really like pigeons. But if I hadn't told them to be curious,
mm.
they'd say, oh yeah, I walked through some pigeons, but it was just coincidence. No,
Yeah,
right. Everything's just coincidence. It's not about
exactly.
the fact that you're now vibing in a way that is inside out and you don't need these fears. The fears and the stresses are coming from preventing the inside out from happening. That's the actual truth of it, rather than the other way around. Everyone's like, I'm so stressed. Yeah, because if you were more you, when you allowed things to be,
Yeah,
stress levels would just not be there, would they?
yeah, totally, totally. And it's like as well to acknowledge that a lot of these things that we built up or whatever, like they were really helpful at the time, I'm sure. Like that, whatever is going on with a pigeon one day, I must have thought, oh, I need to protect myself from pigeons.
That particular one, yeah, maybe. Or maybe you're just, the other thing that we do as humans is that thing where you're feeling scared anyway. You're feeling something anyway, and then the human in you goes, there must be a reason for this. You can't just be feeling scared, which it absolutely can be. So you have to peg it on something. And maybe
Yeah,
that pigeon just sort of did a pigeony move, and you're like, oh no, that's
too much. I mean,
that.
it's such a random example.
But people are scared of tomatoes. People are, it's whatever. And then we have to peg it on something, don't we? So it must be this that's making me scared. Why
Yeah.
can it not just be you're feeling scared in that moment? Just give yourself a little bit of comfort and relax. And then you don't need to peg it on anything on the outside, because then that will all, because it's not coming from the outside. But you're trying to make it an
Yeah,
outside thing. And so
yeah.
totally, oh, love all
And
this.
our system just settles back in. I mean, there's absolutely moments every day where I can feel that, like something. Um, but yeah, getting an awareness around, well, how, I mean, this is, I guess, more recent as well for me, is the body piece, like the physical body, because I know when I am here, when I'm present, when I'm in integrity, listening to my intuition because I have a grounded, peaceful,
Space.
calm,
Yeah, you
yeah,
have a body of
open,
sure, for
and
sure.
my body feels at ease. So one of the first signs for me when I'm starting to, get a wee bit off that is that for me it's usually in my tummy. Like I do get a bit of a jittery tummy feeling, which sometimes feels like excitement, but I'm also like a bit curious about that now because
Hey, 180, fear and excitement are the same sides of two sides of the same coin, for sure. For sure.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So it doesn't have that same quality about it. It just feel, and it can just feel a little bit off to me, but that I've got more used to tuning into that. And as soon as my awareness peaks on that, or gets, oh, hold on, that is usually enough to just momentarily like stop me in my tracks and yeah, just like take a step back. Again, not that we'll push through, drive
Your
through.
body's telling you something,
Yeah, yeah,
like no
yeah,
pigeons, no pigeons. You can't force yourself through the pigeons. It's just gonna make you go, oh my God, even more pigeons. Whereas if you just go, you know what, like you say, let's take a step back, let's take a few breaths, let's chill. What's this really about?
yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
that, like, as well as I think that's the bit that challenges me about the word integrity because I do hear people, talking about living in integrity and, blah, blah, blah. Like it is quite well, I don't know actually if it is bandied about a lot. I don't know. I do remember this is another like thing that's just occurred to me. When I went for an interview, I remember being asked, "Do you know what integrity means?" Because that is what I'm looking for. And I was like, yes, I think so. I mean, I was only like 22 or something at the time. But I mean, on the one level, I guess it does mean honesty and, like, showing up in an honest way and being as honest as you can. But to me, it's more about that alignment, is being honest with me about who I am and like um the challenge is to stay in integrity as much as I can. And sometimes that's not a lot. Or afterwards I'm like, that that wasn't me being in integrity. Like so I like the challenge of the invitation is there to live in integrity as much as I can. And, kind of being open to going back and looking at, oh, well, actually, yeah, that doesn't feel right now when I think about what I said there, or, what, and is there anything I need to do with that now, or is it just an acknowledgement or whatever, so I'm interested in the challenge of it because, yeah, sometimes it doesn't. I'm like, but it's also about myself, like living in integrity for me, to me, like to myself, I would say.
Like, there's a bit about here about your values. Because when I think about if someone had said to me, what does integrity mean? I would immediately say, oh, saying what you mean, meaning what you say,
Mm,
doing
mm,
what you say. But that's just congruence in a way. And I think
yeah,
integrity is stronger, like you're saying that it's about living in line with your values. And
yeah,
you are the same, I'm the same Dawn wherever I go.
yeah,
There's only one me. I mean, there's lots of me within that me,
yeah,
but you know,
yeah,
like, have I acted from that place rather than acting in another way, in a performative way almost, to do that whole, oh, I hope you like me, or I hope you'll accept this, or blah, blah, blah. No, there's none of that. It's got to be
yeah,
total acceptance of ourselves as who we are.
yeah,
Huge souls in a flipping puny human spacesuit, which gives us jip sometime, and we need to just know that that's the case, don't we?
Yeah, yeah. And it's okay. It's okay that we don't always show up. Sometimes I can go, oh God, I really grabbed onto that log there. If we go back to the harness analogy, it's like, oh God, I really struggled through that, or I really kind of thought that my life depended on getting that thing right, or getting that conversation right, or whatever. But I can see that. And I'm looking at that through the lens of I'm in the harness anyway. So it like, is there something for me to see? Is there something for me, to like have another conversation to correct, or apologize, or whatever the thing might be? But I go in to that space knowing that I'm safe no matter what. Like,
It's all
yeah,
feedback. So I feel like when we're moving out of that place of integrity that you're talking about, we're going back to our conditioning through various lives, through this life, whatever. And if I've made a bad call, I feel like it's because I'm wearing the coat, some coat from like 1977, and I'm going, oh, I've done it, and I've actually made the decision through the buttonholes of this fucking stupid coat that I've been wearing since 77. But if I pull that coat off, see it for what it is, and go, no, that was because you were thinking about,
yeah,
what Mrs. Davis said to you when you were 8, and you were thinking, and you were acting from that place. I
yeah,
can, because it's all feedback, isn't it?
yeah. And it's the work's never done. Like, that's the cool thing as well, isn't it? I mean, sometimes you're like, oh God, how many times do I need to see this thing?
Really? I thought I'd done that, and then it's like, ah. But if you're looking at it from a place of curiosity and creativity, it doesn't feel like work. It feels like kind of just putting a little bit of oil or adjusting it on your masterpiece, which is you,
Yeah,
and just
yeah,
a little bit here and there. But we need
yeah,
to be careful not to overdo it and go, you know what? Sometimes this masterpiece is okay.
yeah, yeah,
You know what I mean? It's supposed to go, oh, but there's got to be more. There's got to be more. No, sometimes, yeah, maybe there is more, but maybe not right now. Maybe it's time for you to just be the masterpiece.
yeah, yeah. And like, just like not be so hard on ourselves as well. I mean, I think that's the
Enjoy
thing that,
being yourselves more. Just
yeah,
being yourselves.
yeah, yeah, and relax. And that, I think the other question about, like, I'm getting too old for this bullshit, like that question.
We've moved on to integrity. We moved from, oh, so did it come from your integrity place? What's
Yeah,
your,
well, it's just kind of moving into what we're talking about. It just feels like that is kind of, where, like, what I do want to, release and let go of more. I mean, I think there's always a never ending piece to that, but is that just critical, that little inner, like, because that that also kind of like, when that volume goes up, it feels like the inner critic volume goes up. And sometimes I get just, like, I wouldn't say go down a massive rabbit hole with it. Like I was saying, I can kind of like feel it. I can feel I'm moving out of integrity into this other, but it might sometimes take, a couple hours or whatever. I don't even really know, because I don't know how the kind of timing of it all works, but I can hear her. I can hear that critic, and her voice gets louder than the
yep.
integrity, the intuition, the knowing. So there's a different quality, and it's usually about myself, but I can also, if I'm being just completely honest, like, see me doing it about other people as well, um, and it's got that kind of mean, toxic kind of feeling about it, and it isn't where it isn't, it's just not helpful. It's not helpful for me, for anyone else. It's
But
yeah,
I like that because everybody has that inner critic in them. And there's a great NLP exercise for turning that voice down and seeing how it makes your body feel, how you feel in the body when it goes, because you are like, "Mm," you know, and but the other thing about it, going back to your part about the awareness, is this inner bitch slash critic slash whatever you want to call her or him or it is she was doing something for you, and it's probably ego based actually, probably just to keep you small, keep you over there.
yeah,
Don't get ahead of yourself. Oh God, what are you trying to
yeah,
do? Come back here, I'll make you feel crap. She's trying to help
yeah,
actually. And so, with my inner critic, I tried to give her a cup of tea and a biscuit. So it was a bourbon, hardcore OG biscuit, right? Sit down with your bourbon, love. The war's won.
yeah,
You know, you were pushing me from the 70s and the 80s, but we're in a different century now. I'm
yeah.
okay. And it's almost a bit of letting them know that don't have to be so much of a critic.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I guess then the thing it's not because it isn't really about not hearing it. It's more about not getting lost in it or not acting out of that
Yeah.
space. Because it's when I suppose it is when you act out of that space, that's when it starts getting a bit icky and a bit
It's never going to go,
um
never going to go well.
yeah.
You're relating to about it, even if it's yourself, it's not gonna. No, it's
Yeah,
not.
yeah, and it's not who I am. Like it isn't actually who I am.
Mm.
It's the sort of opposite, isn't it, to that expanded open space. It's that kind of small, um, like you were saying, like tunnel vision. I'm seeing that. I'm not seeing things clearly, but I can see the helpfulness as well because without that contraction, there is no expansion. Like that, without the smallness, there's no openness or the closed there's no open, it's like that you have to have one to know the other, I suppose.
And actually, it's almost a sense for me when my critic starts, instead of giving her when she's sitting down and have a cup of tea, I say, what do I need in this moment to keep you, So it's more about, I think, a request that I need something or something needs to change. She's just
Yeah,
giving feedback on
yeah,
something. And if we can just see that we're just a brilliant operating system, a bit like Jed Welch said this to me, that it's like we're like mobiles. We're brilliant, got a great operating system, we're all the same, it looks great, but some of our apps aren't running that well. And some of our apps are a little bit out of date. And it's almost like, do we need those apps to keep, and it's just that. It's about the functionality of mind, body, spirit as a system, because actually it's working perfectly based on what we fed it.
yeah,
And if we want to stay in that place of integrity, we know what that feels like.
yeah,
What's pushing us? Is it an app that needs?
yeah.
This is metaphor corner, Steph, isn't it? We've just come from
All the
bison
visuals. I love
mobiles to harnesses. It's been brilliant. It's so good. And so you are going to, so for you, the word that's of most value to you, or your theme almost, is integrity. And I love that. And what you want less of is the inner critic. Do you want her to sit down with a cup of tea? Do you want it to be quieter? Or do you want to
you
reframe
know
what's going on there for you?
yeah, now that I think about it, like if there was one word that I want less of, it's bullshit. Is that okay?
No, absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Like
Bullshit.
the word that bobbed up is bullshit. That is yeah, that's it. It's
How
not
does it look for you? What does less bullshit look like in your life?
um people not showing up in integrity. And the balance being out of sync. So um again, it's for me it's like that sixth sense, or that magic, or the sort of opposite feeling of the goosebumps, I guess, is the bullshit alert. Um, like in my gut, I can feel, and not it's not always where you think it is either. I mean, there's some really obvious examples right now in the world.
Yes, indeed, indeed. But actually, when you're at the level that you're at, and at the level of embodiment that you're at, the bullshit comes in a different way, doesn't it? Because I do find, I'm projecting my stuff onto you, I'm sorry, but from my side, it's like it's either people who see me and are challenging me on it because they're triggered by what I'm doing, or
Yeah,
or just, yeah, that's where it comes over most for me, is that sort of level of bullshit where you're like, what are you bringing this to me for? This is not my work, it's your work to do.
yeah. It's kind of subtle, and as well though, if I'm present and it's around, I can feel compassion as well for, not again, that's not always available. And there might be some judgment in there, and there might be, blah, 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 blah. It might take a while, but I feel less inclined to make space for it, like
Yeah.
to just, and not in some way, and again, not in a mean, abrasive bullshit way, but put a light on it, like shine a light in a um hopefully compassionate, loving way, and attempt to get to that deeper space together. Because yeah, there's, well, as we've already said, there's just so much more depth and richness and solution, fresh idea, inspiration, all of that is there. And it's like, I don't want to entertain a bullshit conversation. I would rather have no conversation.
For sure. And I think that's the thing, isn't it? And I don't know if it's an age thing as well. We're just getting, we just don't want to tolerate. It's just no, there's, and because there's no room in our field or in our mind, our back, we don't open another tab with more bullshit on it. Close that tab.
Yeah, yeah.
You just,
And I think as well, like, I know you'll relate to this. I, I don't know if it comes with age and experience, but I definitely think that plays a part. For me right now, I'm approaching 50, and I definitely have that stronger sense of, well, I was going to say, being in the second half of my life. I've probably been in the second half of my life for longer than I might think. Who knows?
people are living to 110 now. I think with science, it might be the other way round. You might not
I
actually
heard I heard if you live in integrity, most of the time you probably get to 100. So I'm going to say
halfway through. You're just approaching
halfway.
the edge now.
Yeah. So I think that it will, maybe even subconsciously, sometimes consciously, is playing a part in this also, like, less tolerant bullshit thing. And like it comes through in like what I read and what I watch and who I spend time with and what I eat and where I go. And like there's definitely this oh yeah, like it it has felt like life is never ending, and I can do what I want and blah, blah, blah. And of course you can, but there is now this other more conscious, I guess. There's more awareness around it being a limited, like time is, limited, and I want to show up as more of me, as much of me as I can, and be, doing things that I love and with people that I love and people who, yeah, aren't mostly in that bullshit space. Like it just doesn't appeal at all. And I think I've put up with a lot of shit in the past that I just don't now.
We all have. And it's suddenly like, oh my gosh, you spent years on that person slash project slash way of being that just was never you. But it comes back to your integrity thing again as well, that they are so linked that if you are in integrity vibrationally, that bullshit just can't really get that close to you
Yeah,
because it's bullshit.
yeah,
Actually,
yeah,
just being that person,
yeah.
bullshit that we haven't got any time for kind of gets less. And like you say, you see it straight away. And you're like, that's BS. I'm not having that.
I might have one more analogy or whatever you call it. What do you call it when we're talking about like the
Metaphor.
metaphor? That's the word. So I've got
People,
one
you
more.
come to metaphor.com. I'm loving the metaphors. I mix my metaphors all the time. My poor clients like, okay, we're on to water, now we're on to this, now we're on to Class Carolyn. You know,
One more that definitely comes to mind when we're talking about that bullshit. It's like Neo in the Matrix, the Keanu Reeves character. Um when there's a bit in it when like it all goes in slow motion and the bullets are coming to him and he can actually just like really slowly, I've got to do the movement as well so that you get the
yeah,
full effect.
all right, it's cool.
And it's like that with bullshit. It's like I can sense it before it like hits me, and I take it on. I definitely not again, not all the time, but more so these days can feel it coming, and I can just
Yeah.
like body swerve it somehow.
And that comes from you being in integrity because you're feeling and understanding your body, the way your body's expressing itself and talking to you. So you can go, oh, I'm feeling this, or is there a bullet coming? And you go, oh, and then you
Yeah,
do. Whereas if you're not listening to that bit,
yeah, yeah.
and you're like, where did that come from? And it's like, well, you weren't listening to.
And you take on other people's stuff, don't you? You take it on, but with good intention. But again, it's like it's bullshit. It's not helpful.
Maybe if they're trying to give the bullshit to you, like, oh, let me talk to you about this, Dawn, because it's bullshit. And I do say that to my clients. I'm like, it's like you've been given a bucket of shit and they've gone off and you're left holding this. What are you gonna do? You're gonna put it down? Or you're just gonna keep holding it? Been holding it for 17 years. You know.
Oh, another metaphor. Love a metaphor.
We have gone to from bisons to a
It's a
bucket.
shit.
And you know what? It's been absolutely awesome. And I love your words. And I got really goosebumpy because it chimed so much for me. And thank you so much for being another person who understands this inside out world so that I don't look like I'm a complete madman when I talk to my clients about it and my mates about it. It's really important that people understand that they've got everything. They can do whatever, they can have whatever, they can be whoever, but they just need to go inside for it. And so thank you for reminding people and being the personification of that, you know. Um,
Thank
and I really want you to come back on. And we just call our metaphor corner, right? We'll just do like metaphors at us. How many metaphors did you spot in this podcast? 32. Hooray. One of them is going to land with you at some point. But it
you.
was
Like every time you see a metaphor.
honestly, metaphors are the way forward, man. You know, we talk, we speak, we feel in metaphors all the time. So yeah, we're on it, babes. There's on to something here. But thank you so much for joining me. And I love talking to you, and I will speak to you over coffee, obviously, at some point soon. But thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you, Dawn. I've really, really enjoyed our conversation. Thank you.
Thanks.